Help Yourself. The Help Yourself experience is a fitness center for professional and personal development. Today's topic is, yes, I'm selfish and I am so proud of it. It's all about the selfish movement. Today I have two special guests, Ambria Cotton and Janae Tyson. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great, great. Let's talk a little bit about who you are first. Ambria, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 23 years old, of course a native of Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yay.
I would say that I have a passion for helping young girls. I wrote a book, and that came from just actually speaking with one particular teenage girl at my church, talking with her and just seeing the situations that she was going through. Being able to help her made me feel like that I would be able to help someone else. So I guess you could say that's my passion, that's what I love to do, and I'm getting started.
Wonderful, and that's the basis for our conversation today. Is that correct?
It is.
Absolutely. And Janae, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a sophomore at Middle Creek High School in Apex. I'm 15 years old, and I really just feel like it's important nowadays that girls have that self-esteem push, because a lot of them I see coming from a public school and having a Christian background, they don't have that. And because of the fact that their parents don't teach them the right ways, or they're not from a stable household, they find that attention through boys and just being with the wrong crowd. So I really am glad to be a part of this, because I know it's a way I can help other females that are my age have that self-esteem push that they need.
Absolutely, and very much needed, like you said. It's something that's very prevalent that needs to be addressed,
Right.
you know, helping our young ladies to grow and to be strong, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, very good. Now, Ambria, you told me that this is a selfish movement.
Yes, I the actual title came from me having a conversation with a friend of mine. I'll go back and say that when I was younger, pretty much from anybody that I knew, they told me that I was selfish. You know, I'm an only child. I don't necessarily like to share, and I guess it was seen as a negative thing. They were always saying, "You're so selfish," and it used to make me upset when I was younger, because I would be like, you know, no, I'm not. And talking to a friend of mine, who now it's probably been about 6 months or so ago, we were having a conversation, and she was talking about things that she wanted to do in life, and she made a statement. She was like, you know, I really don't want to be selfish. And at that point it kind of clicked. I was trying to find a title for my book, and I was thinking of different things, and it was like nothing really stuck with me, and I wanted something where it would turn heads when they saw it. And so when she said that, I'm like, you know, hold up, yes, you are selfish and you need to be proud of it. And when I said that, I'm like, gosh, that is the title of the book. And so it's trying to take something that people see as a negative and turning it into something that's positive, because I like to say, you know, you can't be selfless until you're selfish. A lot of people say, you know, you need to be selfless, you need to think about others and not necessarily yourself. Well, you can't do that until you start thinking about yourself and your needs and your wants and going after that. At that point, after you've accomplished that, then you can become selfless and start putting other people first.
Wow, you really said a mouthful there, and that's a really interesting topic, because as we grow up, we were always taught that you're selfish, don't be so selfish, but you're showing us in a positive light how we should be selfish, just a little bit, so we can learn how to grow and develop. Wonderful. Who's your target audience for this selfish movement?
Well, the primary audience, I would say, are girls ages 15 to 18, really high school girls, because that's when it's really the most vital for them to learn to put themselves first, with all the stuff that's going on in the media, and teenage girls trying to figure out who they are, what they want to be, the trends they want to follow after. And you have women, you know, in the media that are showing you it's okay to be vulgar and do this and do that. And then you have girls around you saying that in order to get a guy, you have to do this and do that. It's targeting them. And I would say that the secondary audience are women, older women. I would say probably up to, you know, early 20s, because I am in my early 20s, and showing them when you're in your career that, you know, not to sound too selfish, but your career is your number one priority at a young age, because, you know, there's going to be time to meet the man and get married and do all that, but you kind of want to be established in what you're doing first before moving on into that phase, so that you have something to offer when you do get into that phase.
Absolutely. And what is it that you hope to accomplish through this movement?
To have girls to look at themselves in a better light, to not feel like that they're not good enough, or that because they may look different or they may act different that, you know, they're excluded, that we're all one. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, what you look like, where you came from, what you have or don't have. Everybody's one. We're sisters, actually, so we need to be uplifting one another instead of putting each other down.
Wow, very good. So what are your future plans for the movement?
Future plans for the movement is to have this thing go national. Right now, it is local. I actually just had someone join from Charlotte, so that's good. It's just to have, I see it as a worldwide movement, to have young girls and women be proud of who they are and not feel like they have to fit in with what society says you should be, or what you should look like, or should have, or shouldn't have. That you're going to go after what you want, and no one and nothing is going to stop you.
Now, Janae, what type of issues do you see teens facing?
Most of the time, it's for females. I cater everything back to self-esteem, because I feel like if you don't come from a stable household that established you as like you're pretty and you're worth it and you're worth waiting for, and you don't need to do this and that to impress guys, they take that and they do the exact opposite because of the fact they don't know. And also with the drug and like alcohol problem and partying, and people just like, if you're not sure about yourself, of course you're going to be free to fall into anything that comes your way. So I had a girl in one of my classes where she doesn't really have the most self-esteem, and she recently got a boyfriend, and she became really attached to him, and they broke up one day, and she came to class boo-hooing and sobbing, and everybody was asking what was wrong with her. And when I found out it was over the guy, I was just like, it hurt me so much, because it's sad to see someone get so attached at such a young age, because your main focus should be your schoolwork. I understand, because I like boys, I have a boyfriend, but I understand, and he knows that I'm not going to focus all my time on him because I have other stuff that I have to do. And it's not just about relationships, it's about getting your education and providing the best for yourself.
Wonderful. So you are a member of the Selfish Movement, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, and I'm proud of it.
All right. So what inspired you to join?
Mostly because of the fact Ambria was pushing it, and just thinking about how girls my age just fall into anything and really need a background and a support that will help them be confident in themselves and not to think they're not worth it. And just me also, because even though I'm a confident person, there are times when I doubt myself and think, I wish I was skinnier or I had longer hair and this and that, because you see girls all the time who are more prettier than you, or they're more athletic, and you think because they get the guys or they're more popular, you think, oh, I should look like that. You're beautiful just the way you are, and if you want to make ways to enhance your beauty, there are ways, but you don't have to be a certain type of girl to be perfect, kind of.
Yeah, I think I really need to join that movement, because I'm trying to get that Beyonce look, but it's not working out. So I might need to reevaluate that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit more about some of the excerpts in your book.
Okay.
Some of the things that are personal to you that you can share with us so the audience can connect and help them.
Yes. When I was a teenager, probably 15, like I said, I had a family member that said something to me, and now it could possibly seem trivial to people, but when you're a teenager and you enter into high school, you're going through a lot.
Yes.
Inside. You're in a new environment, you have people around you that you're not familiar with, you're trying to prove yourself, because you go from being in the 8th grade, kind of like on top, to now the
Top
9th
dog.
grade. You're like what they call, or when I was in there, fresh meat. So
They still use that, but it's in a different context now.
Yeah, you're in there now, and you feel alone. And so It was a holiday weekend, and I went over to my aunt's house, and my cousin was actually there. And one of the first things, when she saw me, she said something to me, and I guess I can say it now, but it's trivial. She was like, you're really getting fat. You ought to work out. And now when I think about that, it would just kind of blow over. But back then, I'm in high school. I just entered high school. I wasn't feeling that good about myself. And she was older than me, and I was thinking to myself, how could you say something to me like that? And it was like the first thing she said to me. And so that...
So it wasn't, hi, how you doing?
right.
Good to see you.
Like, wow, you're getting fat, you need to work out. And I'm like, okay. And that evening, it just kind of scarred me. And so from then on, I felt like, okay, now since I'm getting fat, I got to start working out. So that took it to a whole nother level for me. I went through a period where I really wouldn't eat much of anything. And when I would eat something, it was like a salad, or I would drink water at lunchtime. When I would go, I would eat a salad, I would drink water. I exercised crazy to the point where it was one afternoon, my father had actually come home, and I was on the treadmill, and I was up there for a while. Something happened, and the particular treadmill that I have, it's one where you would plug it in. The thing came unplugged, and I kind of fell backwards, and I started hyperventilating to the point where I thought I was going to pass out. I was to the point where I was just like kind of out of it. I wasn't really eating like that. I remember I would like time myself. So if I were to eat anything, even if it were like a cracker, I would like time when I ate, and it didn't matter if I had hunger pains, an hour from now. I was not going to eat until I felt that particular time frame came that I could eat. So it was like a mental situation. I didn't eat much, so when I would eat, it would be to the point where sometimes it would be nausea or hurting so bad I couldn't eat, and my parents would be like, you need to eat something. I'm like, I can't right now, because I was just going through it. And so it took me until probably halfway through college that I realized, what you're doing to yourself is not helping you, it's actually hurting you. Yeah, I was losing some weight, but I was doing it the wrong way. Right. And I still wasn't feeling good about myself, even after doing all that. So that's a personal situation that I went through, and I know that if I'm dealing with that, there are other girls that are dealing with that.
How did you overcome that?
My parents telling me, not necessarily telling me this is crazy, but talking to me and saying, what this person said, you're not that. You have to know who you are. And then me coming to a personal, revelation and realizing that I'm not what she said that I was. I'm not fat. If anything, I was very small. So I guess just realizing that. And then also, I am a church girl, so actually getting serious about it and really tapping into God and talking to him, and him actually, I guess you could say, not to be too spiritual, but just showing me that, you're more than what this person said to you.
Janae, what about you? Is there something that you can share with us as a personal experience and how it affected you and how you have overcome that?
That's kind of like what Ambria was talking about, because I went through, when I was younger, I was a happy child, but it was like a phase it started like 3rd grade up until about the end of 7th grade. But the thing is, I was very heavy set, but I didn't realize it. So I say I was like a happy fat kid in a way, because I honestly was like, my parents, we look back on pictures and we laugh and like, we should have stopped feeding you, getting so big. But it's like, we laugh at it as a joke, but at certain points when me and my sister would fight, she used to be very athletic, and she played basketball, and she was tall and like muscular and built, and she was skinny. And so like me being like the short little chunky girl, it was hard because like we would fight and she would be like, you're so fat. And honestly, I would like call her back insults, but at the end of the day, it would hurt me. And I really didn't start realizing like until middle school, and it started kind of affecting me. But I never got to the point where I would like stop eating, because I just love food too much. But at certain times I would be self-conscious. But like after 7th grade, it was baby fat really, and it started to go away. But like the insults, they still hurt because you think about it. And then for me, especially, my biggest thing is like at the school I go to, all you see is little skinny girls everywhere you go. And it's like hard because different races have different body builds. So you can't say like just because certain people have hips and behind, and you can't control that. So it's hard, but all you can do is just realize that your body build is not going to be the same as everyone else's, and you have to know what's good for you. You can exercise and eat healthier, but don't take it to the extreme, and be confident in yourself and know you can't be that small. As hard as you work, you could stop eating completely and exercise 24 hours a day, but you still can't be the same size as someone else.
Isn't there a song out, is it Mary J. Blige, or someone has a song that says